Integrity means you live by the same set of principles in the totality of your life. For the mind, assume the half-life of your profession is 2 years. Now prepare accordingly. As we move into this knowledge economy in great speed, the constant need to invest in your education, experiences like this, online education, getting back in the different training programs, school, constant need for it. And then for the spirit, assume you had a one-on-one communication with your Creator. Now live accordingly. The cultivation of these 4 parts to our nature develops at its highest level what I call vision for the mind. Vision means you have the sense of what's out there. You cannot see it, but you see it in your mind's eye. You see the potential in another person. I mean, think on this. How many of you have achieved the level of success you've achieved partly because, or even largely because, someone believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself? Now look at the hands. Look at the hands. That's like half the group. If we were to ask those people to respond, their stories would bring you to tears. They really would. These are people who others helped find their voice by affirming their worth and potential when they did not believe in themselves. Vision, discipline, the power to subordinate what you want now to what you want eventually. I mean, no one on their deathbed ever wished they spent more time at the office or watching television. I've studied the deathbed research. It's all about families, loved ones, contribution, and the contribution that they are making. Even Abraham Maslow transcended his own need hierarchy theory on his deathbed, saying self-actualization is not where it's at. It's self-transcendence. It's what my kids are about, and their kids. And then for the heart, passion. You feel strong about it. You're convicted. And for the spirit, conscience. These are the highest manifestations of the 4 intelligences: vision, discipline, passion, and conscience. And when the first 3 are governed by conscience, I'll guarantee you it will change the world. It will lift the world. Compare a Gandhi with a Hitler. What one word separates those 2 individuals from what you see up here on the slide? It's conscience. Because both were visionaries, disciplined, and passionate. And Gandhi not only had conscience, in his vision, he saw an independent India, way beyond the vision and scope of the people of India. And he brought England to its knees, liberated 300 million Indians, and never was elected to any office. He never held a position. His authority was moral. He had no formal authority. It was moral authority. That is the essence of leadership. Management is formal authority. Management is position. Leadership is moral authority. Leadership is a choice. And anybody can exercise it at any level. I wrote an entire book on living the 7 habits that had nothing but stories in it, almost all of which dealt with people who changed their organizations at the bottom level or the middle level with no formal authority at all. They were what I like to call trim-tabbers. Trim-tabbers, the small rudder that turns the big rudder that turns the entire ship. This trim-tabbing idea is so powerful to me. The small rudder that turns the big rudder that turns the entire ship. You just start in your own small circle of influence, and gradually it gets larger and larger through the power of your moral authority. And it can impact the entire ship. It's a threatening idea, though, because it means we are responsible. We do have the freedom and power to choose our response in any given set of circumstances. And it causes us to be very creative, because we're not fearful of risks. We're not running scared of people's opinions. We don't grow up with a comparison-based identity where our sense of worth comes from how well we stack up to others. It comes from our integrity to our conscience and to principles that are deeply embedded within us. And it gives an internal source of security. So you're no longer dependent upon opinion or position or address or status or fashion. It's enormously emancipating and freeing to then give yourself and to make a difference, to become a trim-tabber. Let's look at the question, why is this 8th habit so relevant today? Why is it any really different than just another habit in degree to the other 7? The 7 Habits was published in 1989. That was also the same year that the Berlin Wall came down, and is generally considered the beginning of the information age. So I'd like to put that into perspective, into a larger historical perspective, in order to answer my question, why an 8th habit? In what way is that the 3rd dimension to the other 7? Here are 5 civilization eras, economic eras of humankind. And the technology is shown in each era. Hunters and gatherers, bow and arrow being the technology, the fulcrum's in the center, put in 1 unit of effort. You catch 1 fish, you get 1 deer, you gather so many seeds, nuts, whatever, okay? You became a farmer. The fulcrum went over there a long ways, so that you put in 1 unit of effort and you get out 50 units of productivity. Can you imagine the social dislocation of 95% of the people being downsized? Imagine the new skill set they would have to learn, the new mindset, the new tool set. The industrial age, it put the fulcrum way over there, so that the industrial age outproduces the agricultural age 50 times. Specialization, mass production, efficiency, supply side management. So many marvelous things. And on that basis has come most of the economic and social progress of the entire 20th century. It comes from the industrial age. In fact, the farmers adopted the industrial model. And that's why an industrialized farm will outproduce a family farm 50 times. A little over 2.5%, 3% of the people in this country feed the entire country. Imagine the social dislocation again. Imagine the downsizing, the re-education, the retooling. Can you begin to get the sense of what I'm talking about? Because we move now into the information, knowledge worker age. It's a whole different world. Literally. It's no longer a world of controlling people. It's a world of unleashing people. I mean, take the accounting concept that came from the industrial age model. You are an expense. Coming to this, participating in this, is an expense. But if you buy a machine, what's that called? An investment. Isn't that interesting? People are an expense, things are an investment. That's the paradigm of the industrial model. And because most people are alienated and disempowered, then it puts the responsibility on who to do the so-called leadership and management? Those with formal authority. How do they do it? They carrot and stick them. Here's the carrot, here's the stick. If you produce, you get the carrot. If you don't, you get the stick. It's called the great jackass theory of human motivation. and causes profound alienation. I'll show you what else it causes. Close your eyes for a second, wherever you are watching this. Close your eyes, but don't peek. Point north, don't peek. Okay, now open your eyes and look around and see where people are pointing. I mean, look, literally. That way, this way, straight up, that way, this way. I mean, just look at the people right around you. Do you want to have the same exact experience? Try it. Go to any group, any department in your organization that you work with. Or go to the top executive team. Just walk in and say, what's the number one high priority goal? And just see what they say. What's number one? Write them down. I'll guarantee it'll be just like pointing north. Well, if that is the case, and a person's purpose and value system and their priority goals drive every other decision, is there any wonder there is such profound misalignment? Just watch the difference as you go into any business, whether they're into the industrial age model or the knowledge worker age model. I'll guarantee you, it will be so vast. The one is so superior over the other. This is a little film we put together to communicate some of this data. We just did this in a soccer field just behind my home. These are some of our employees. It's called Goal.
Remember? No, not that thing. The other thing we practiced. Time out! Everybody, come in! Come in now, everybody! Treats! I got treats! There we go. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, all right? Andy, I want you out on the wing. Trent, I want you to fake the pass to Andy and push the ball up the field, and then pass the ball to your forwards who are Sophie and Chris. Sophie, I want you to hold the ball and draw the defense out to you, all right? And I want you to float a lob pass all the way over the defense to Chris. Chris, you take it in for the score, just like we did in practice. Everybody got it? Let's go get him!
Do you see any similarities between Saturday morning soccer and Monday morning at the office? I mean, think about it. Too often, teams and organizations are unclear about the goals their top priorities really are. Coaches and players are simply not on the same page. What you get is everyone just kind of running around in all directions instead of working together toward the same goal. The inability to take high-level goals and strategies of an organization and then to translate those into action is a major problem in most organizations. It's one thing to come up with great strategies and goals, but it's quite another to actually get them done. This is what we could call the execution gap. In a landmark study done by the Harris Polling Group, we discovered some revealing statistics as to why execution breaks down and why goals